perfection. What comes to mind when you think of the word perfection? Perhaps you think about hanging around with your loved ones, maybe even achieving a goal you've been longing for. Well, for me, perfection is Viper from Combatants Will Be Dispatched. Such a perfect character that I dedicated an entire section to my Konosuba and Combatants Analysis video just about how amazing of a character Viper is. Also go watch that video, please spend 2 months making it in a flop. But aside from Viper, when I think of the word perfection, I think of the series Girls Last Tour. Girls Last Tour is truthfully the only manga I've ever read that I can confidently say is perfect. But why? Well, in this video, I'm going to talk about why I believe this series is such a masterpiece, and why I personally believe it to be just about the greatest manga I've ever read. Now, the first thing I have to compliment the series on is the absolutely amazing art. Often when I talk about manga on this channel, I speak about how much I like the art, and at this point, it sort of makes me sound like a broken record with how much I repeat that phrase. Like Rent a Girlfriend, this series has amazing art, but the art is amazing! That the art in this manga is extremely well done. Alright, I get it! But when I tell you that Girls Last Tour blows almost every other manga out of the water, I mean it. Rent a Girlfriend, Children of the Senjuji Family, The Quintessence Quintuplets, Laid Back Camp, Girls Last Tour is just about better than all of them. This manga is full of beautiful scenery showing the hopeless and desolate world our characters inhabit. And all the scenery in this manga isn't just beautifully illustrated, but also varies in design, never making you feel as if you're going through the same locations over and over again. In accompanying this incredibly detailed and varied design of scenery, we have our characters in the story and how they're illustrated, and I believe it's just about perfect. The characters are never drawn as big, but always as a small part of the world, fitting for what I believe the author is attempting to get across. But speaking more so on how the characters are specifically illustrated themselves, I love how they're drawn so full of life and passion, and it creates a brilliant contrast with the dead world they occupy. Overall, the art in the series is easily tied as my favorite art in all of manga, along with Dragon Ball and Yuta Camp. Maybe even better depending on how I'm feeling. It's that amazing of art style. Whether it's the beautifully dead scenery or the beautifully expressive characters, I cannot get enough of this manga's art style. And speaking of expressive characters, let's talk about why the characters in this manga are perfect. Now, to not make this video too long, I'm only going to be speaking on the characters Shito and Yuri, and why I believe they're so great. But just so we're clear, there are more characters in this manga, a couple more at least, and they're just as amazing. The first reason why I find these characters, Chito and Yuri, so amazing is how they're written with the mindset that the glass is forever half full. I'm talking about optimism. They're always optimistic. Despite their dire situation and bleak, inevitable future, they're always pushing forward together with smiles hand in hand. And those smiles are the greatest part of this manga. Despite being dealt the absolute worst hand in existence, they never stop smiling. The joy of simply being alive never disappears from their hearts. I think a scene that best shows off their brilliant nature is in the submarine when the camera shows all the previous photos it has acquired over the years. Here, Chito and Yuri see the lives that they could have had if they were born in a different time, lives girls such as them should have had. Yet instead of dwelling on things that are impossible, they move on, being grateful that they at least have each other and continue on their path, smiling hand in hand. The way these characters never allow themselves to succumb to despair is honestly inspiring and frankly beautiful. They don't dwell on what they don't have or what they deserve, they simply live the life that they were given, living life one step at a time and appreciating every single moment. In short though, these characters are absolutely amazing, and the way they contrast with their dead world, along with some of the themes they represent, truly stand out to me as absolutely perfect. And speaking of the themes in the series, the themes here are represented so expertly and brilliantly that I don't truly feel confident speaking about them in full detail. There are so many themes throughout the series: hopelessness, curiosity, adventure, relief, inevitability, and so much more. This series has so much to say, and every word is something worth listening to. And personally, some of the subject matter touched in the series makes me tear up with the way it was handled. And to not delve too deeply into spoilers, I believe the stuff with Ishii is absolutely phenomenal and it really hits home to me specifically, and I loved it. Another specific case is Yuri and Chito's final conversation in the final chapter of this manga, which perfectly puts their themes on full display, and it's frankly beautiful. Another great thing about the series is the comedy. While they are in a dead world with decaying buildings all around them and no hope for the future, this series still manages to be hilarious, and I couldn't stop laughing when reading. Chito and Yuri are just such entertaining and endearing characters that you can't help but smile and chuckle watch them progress through this lost world. So the art is good though, the comedy is great, the themes are well represented, and the characters are phenomenal. So are there any negatives to this manga? Well, it should be obvious from how I've spoken about this series so far, but the answer is a resounding no. I meant it when I said that this manga is perfect. There isn't a single aspect of this manga that I believe could have been done better. I think it's that amazing. Even with my favorite franchise of all time, even beyond manga, with Dragon Ball, I often find issues and things I believe could have been done better or been done differently. But for Girls Last Tour, I don't think there's anything of the sort. Whenever I read this series, there's nothing I believe could have been done better. It is simply an amazing, phenomenal series. Perfect, even. And with all that out the way, I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. I really like this manga, man. It's beautiful. I mean, I cried reading it a couple times, man. It takes a lot to make me cry in manga, and this manga really hit me. So yeah, it's good. Would I say read it? Yeah, it's for like 4 to 7 chapters. Each chapter's like 20 pages. Read it. What do you haven't read it yet? Go read it. What do you watch this video for? Go read it. But yeah, this manga is amazing. Yeah, probably gonna be like uploads for a little bit. I'm pretty lazy, so expect that. But I'm trying to stay on top of things. I'm trying. It's just difficult, you know. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. Go read Girls Last Tour and go read Compensatory Research because Spyper is just as perfect. See ya.